The topic selected by your group is the silent way. First, I will give you a brief explanation about certain points, and then my classmate will continue explaining deeper about the topic. The silent way is the name of a method of language teaching devised by Caleb Gateno. It is based on the premise that the teacher should be silent as much as possible in the classroom, but the learner should be encouraged to produce as much language as possible. This method emphasizes the learner autonomy and the active student participation, using silence as a tool to achieve this goal, and the teacher uses a mixture of silence and gesture to focus the students' attention, to elicit responses from them, and to encourage them to correct their own errors. Pronunciation is also seen as fundamental to the method, with a great deal of time spent on each lesson. And there are four principal aspects of this method. The first one is that the learner needs to discover and create by himself, because students learn more when they are active participants of their own learning. The second is learning is facilitated by problem solving involving the material to be learned. They are more engaged on the process when the tasks have more relevant. Third, learning is made easier by the use of physical objects, such as cursing our roads, for example. It is very important to provide students materials and tools with which they can learn more vocabulary in a dynamic way. And the fourth one is that learning is made easier by problem solving using the target language, because students are forced to mimicking some of the real life problem solving situations they might find themselves facing if immersed in the target language. The silent way concentrates on teaching a small number of functional and versatile words. Translation and role repetition are avoided, and language is usually practiced in meaningful contexts. The proponent of the silent way as a method of teaching language is Caleb Gateno. He establishes that it makes extensive use of silence as a teaching method, and it was introduced in 1963 in his book Teaching Foreign Language in School, the Silent Way. Caligno was critical of mainstream language education at the time, so he based the method on his general theories of education rather than on existing pedagogies. It is usually regarded as an alternative language teaching method, in which evaluation is carried out by observation, and the teacher may never set formal tests based on it.
Hello guys, my name is Kenny Martinez and today we are going to talk about a super important method that has revolutionized the complete idea about language, foreign language teaching. So yes, today we're going to talk about a method that is super important and it deals with, with this silence. So we have over here the silent way. Yes, so we have that the silent way was a method that started his origins were in 1970. Yes, this method was originated by professors that they thought that students were having problems at the time of speaking because they were not using or they were having troubles at the time to speak in a real conversation, in a real language conversation. So uh, a professor from Europe, his name was Caleb Lateno, he said that language needs to be acquired naturally. And he also based his theories on Noam Chomsky researchers that says the language is not a product from a habit. That language is a product of a set of rules that are already established. So the name of this guy was Caleb Gateno. He said that teachers, they don't need to teach. They need to uh, keep the students learn by themselves, okay? They discovered their own learning. So the silent way was a new proposal against the grammar translation method that says that vocabulary needs to be mastered just by translating, that the only source of knowledge is the teacher. So Mr. Gateno said that this is not possible anymore, that students, they also have a previous knowledge, and that language, a foreign language, is based on what they have, on the knowledge that they have previously. So let's see, there are some aspects that this new technology was proposing. The first one was the learning is easy when the learner discovers or creates. Also, this happens when the learner is not only memorizing, but also when he or when she is putting into practice the knowledge that they already have. So learner also need to repeat what he or what she is doing or saying, so he and she can acquire the knowledge. Another important aspect is that the knowledge or the learning process is easy when the lessons is accompanied by physical objects, because Mr. Gatena and his theory proposed that we humans, we tend to relationate, we associate things. So it's better for us to understand when we have a relationship, when we have built a relationship between an object and a sound that we want to produce, because our system is involved in that action. Also, Silent West views the learning as a problem. Also, as a problem that needs to be solved by using creativity. Because when we use creativity, we discover. We are not just fixed to a pattern, we are not just relying on a set of structures that are there that cannot be fixed. So Mr. Gatana said that yes, language can be fixed in many ways that students, of course, can make. And also, he says that the pronunciation is the base of every language. So the main skill emphasized in this method is the pronunciation. For that reason, he set some techniques that help teachers to emphasize the pronunciation. And his most famous quote said, "Tell me and I forget, teach me and I remember, and bold me and I will learn and I learn." Okay, so this was the theory established by Mr. Gatena that says that we as teachers, we need to stay in silent, okay? And students, they need to speak as much as possible, as much as they can. So we have some materials that this method used. First of all, I'm going to share it here. First of all, we have the set of color roads. Okay, they are called customer roads. They are little blocks, little color blocks that they are set to make an association between the grammar structure and how students can fix and arrange this structure in many ways so they can create their own sentences and they can develop their own output. So also, we have some charts that they are called fiddle charts. That is a set of arranged sounds that they can be useful for teachers to teach sounds that they are strange to students. For example, in French and in English, we have some set of sounds that they are not common or that they are not used or that they are proper for that language. So this chart makes the learning process, the learning of the sounds easier for the student and for the teacher to explain. So it says also that the vocabulary and the words are teach by using this method. So students can relate those colors with the vocabulary that they have or that they are about to learn. So this method started, and its proposal was that the teacher was the one in silent and the student needs to speak. So how did the teachers to communicate, to give commands to students? So well, we have that the teachers use their body language, biomechanics, to make the student understand what she or he wanted to say. So we have the first image that it means stop. So whenever a teacher wanted to, to the student stop, he made this signal, okay? Stop. Also, when the teacher wanted the student to repeat what he or she were saying, teacher can use this biomechanic, okay? This body language, okay? For repeat. Also, in the silent way, because we want to make associations, we make the student to remember that one finger has a specific um, part of the speech. For example, let's say in the sentence, I am happy, okay? So we as teachers could say, the pinky finger is for the subject. The hard finger, the middle finger, no, yes, the hard finger, the ring finger is for the verb be, and the middle finger is for uh, an adjective. Okay, so for example, I am happy. She is a doctor. They are angry. You are a student. Okay, so by using the fingers, teachers could make associations between the patterns and the vocabulary that student already had. And we have the last one, that it's this one, that it means that the teacher wanted the student to speak louder. So as we can see, this method is very easy to use for and also for students to learn them, because in many methods, I mean, in the grammar translation method, the main focus was on translation. Students were always with the notebook, were always translating paragraph and novels, but they were not really putting into practice the vocabulary that they already had. So we can take a look also here at the chart, at the pedal chart. And as you can see, we have many sounds that are from English. So by using this chart, teachers could explain students how was the sound that they were making. For example, we have the word hello. Okay, so we as teachers could say, okay, so the sound for the vowel O, sorry, it's not this one, is this one, okay? Everybody, hello. Yes, hello. Okay, let's see. For this body part, okay, we have the spelling, I'm sorry, the pronunciation. I. Okay, yes, this one. I. So students could have a graphic representation of the sound even though he or she doesn't have a previous knowledge about that sound. But by the helping of the chart, we can make the process easier to the student to remember how was the sound, or what is the correct pronunciation of each sound. Also, we have the use of customer roads, that they were associations between patterns. Okay, also nowadays, right, we can use Legos, so we can teach our student how to do it. Okay, right now I am going to make a little practice, and I don't have roads, but I have colors over here. Okay, I have a blue, I have a green color, and I have a pink color. Okay, so we are going to practice a simple sentence, okay? So we're going to set the pink color for subjects. I, you, we, she, it, and they. Okay? And then we have blue for verbs. Play, eat, sleep, jump, cry, take, buy. Blue for verbs. And then we have green for complements. Okay? So we have the first example. She eats pizza. Another one. You do the homework. Another one. They study English. So by using colors, students can make associations about how a sentence is arranged without being struggling hours and hours and hours memorizing patterns and structures. So that is the main function of the questionnaire routes. And we have that that is the mainly used for the silent one. Thank you guys. I hope you really liked this presentation. If you have questions, you can write on your notebook and then ask me the question. I am going to be more than happy to help you. Okay, so thank you. Thank you. And bye. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. See you.